Hi, Mikhail here. This is the third demo of the Graph API for Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, objects quite often refer to each other, so you can think of them as a graph. And this is the API that allows you to see the graph and query it in various ways. It's a live view, so you don't get just a static picture, you get updates. And there is a corresponding command in GitLab CLI called cluster graph that allows you to use that, access that API to see what it returns in a browser. Originally, this was intended, and it is still intended as a backend for this idea, a tree view of an environment, so that you see the tree of objects in your environment, cluster environment. But this is in UI, and this is there's just the CLI implementation. So in this third demo, I want to show the um, new feature that is part of this now. Uh, but let me first show you what this looks like. So this is the query. I have the GDK running. I have the Kubernetes agent server running, the agent running connected to a local cluster. And here I'm running the development branch of the GitLab CLI, running a cluster graph connecting to GDK. Agent number one, project roots agents. I want to use all deployments as roots in the graph so that we see like not everything in the graph, but only objects that are connected from all deployments. So I want to see the deployments and anything that is connected from deployments. And see the core, batch, apps are bug, and cluster bug groups. So objects in those groups. And this will be quite a lot, I guess. Yeah, nothing. This is because there are no deployments yet. So it's running, so it's a live view. Let's create a deployment. And then this will create a simple deployment. Actually, I have a deployment here. I have a more interesting setup. I have a config map and a deployment that mounts that config map here. So this is basically one vertex in the graph that has an arc to another vertex, right? Two objects, but also deployment will create a replica set and pods, so that will be even more objects with reference to each other. So let's apply this file, and you see that there is a deployment and the map. Okay. Why don't we not see the pods? They should be pods. Well, this is actually because uh, pods are connected to replica set and not replica set connected to deployment. So that's what you get if you use deployments as roots. But okay, let's move that here actually and have that as our panel. So this is without the new feature. And let's run the same thing, but with this new flag. Uh, that's what it's about. Yep, but yeah, let's put it into this browser. So this is the same query, but with the new flag that uh, tells the API to also follow the arcs in the reverse direction. So this is our deployment. and it's connected via transitive arc to a config map. That's what we see here. But then we also have a replica set. This is the replica set connected to the deployment via the owner reference. Owner references are yellow arcs. And then we have two pods connected to the owner reference to the replica set, and they also are connected to the default service account and that config map with CA authority. And we also have the row binding that binds the cluster row view to the default service account here. So basically, we walked the graph from the deployment and found everything that is connected. Now, if we let's skip both, we delete row binding code. It's called view1. So because that vertex that connects the service account to the cluster row is gone, we yeah, it's not connected anymore, so we don't see the row cluster row. But if we connect to it, let's call view2. It's in the default account to the default namespace connected to the default service account, and I think this, I don't know, but so this is it again. We created the object that connects these two, and we follow arcs both ways. So we go from the deployment to the pods, well, to the pods, and then from pods to service account, and from service account to the row binding, and from the row binding to the cluster row. We can create another one, let's say admin. We connect the cluster row admin to the same default service account, and it's going to connect that thing here. As you can see, this is a live view. We do things in the cluster using kubectl, and we see immediately what's happening there. So this is the feature. We can use this in the browser to draw this dashboard, basically. But for now, it's available in GitLab CLI. Please use it and provide feedback. Thank you.